something crazy you can take advantage of and make your clients a lot of money because it hijacks the brain. It whispers, what happens next? What if I miss something? Why does this feel important? That's how powerful copy works. Raising questions the reader has to know the answers to, like start a story, but you don't finish it. Or you hint at something without actually revealing it until the end. And make the gap between what they know and what they want to know impossible to ignore. Curiosity is tension, and the tension is what drives action. It's what drives people to actually read the whole thing and input and just learn your whole message. So does this actually work? I'm gonna play a clip from a word from my past students, from some conversations that I've had with them on why they started copywriting and what their overall experience has been like with copywriting so far. So now that you've seen that, what does being a copywriter actually look like? What is the end goal? Number one, you learn copywriting for free, which you will do right now in this course and are doing as we speak. Next is you start writing some copy and you start practicing. Just like that. You learn and you start writing. And then when I tell people this, they think something like, well, where do I go to school? What kind of degree do I get? How do people know that I can do this? Just stick with me here. You don't need any of that stuff because in 2025, people don't care about a piece of paper or what it says. They care about what you can do. And if you can produce, if you can do, then they don't really care. Next is when you send your practice copy to businesses as outreach. So you take the copy that you've written for this business and then you send it to them as outreach, as you trying to get clients. Now, I have a whole outreach section that's coming up shortly that will show you how to get clients in every single way to do so and get high paying clients. But for now, this is just the overall bird's eye view. So you get a gig for little to no pay in your first couple of weeks. You work and you earn while you learn. And it won't be that much, but even if it's a few $100s for just like a email sequence or a website or a landing page, I mean, bro, are you gonna say no to that? You're literally making money pretty much out of the gate and you're learning the skill and you're actually putting it into practice because you fulfilling client work is the best way possible to actually learn the skill in and of itself. Next is you get your first $2,000 to $4,000 per month client. This can be anything from daily emails to just writing their overall copy for their brand on social media or writing some landing pages, some VSLs. We're gonna go over all of those, what they are and how to write them later on down here. But first $2,000 to $4,000 per month client, you've been working for them for probably a couple hours per day. And then you want to scale your income up to $10,000 per month. So you continue expanding your skill set and leveraging your worth to hit that within your first 3 to 6 months. That's the goal, to hit 10K per month. As long as it's in your first year, I mean, that's still a W. I got my 10K per month with copywriting at around month 9 myself. Then you start outsourcing, hiring, and increasing your prices. And now more work can be done and your income can scale to $20,000 per month plus. And so that is overall the progression of what it will look like. And we'll get down all of those steps here momentarily too. So marketing follows important structures and frameworks, just like music. All of those songs that you hear on the radio that hit number 1, for example, are built with a formula that works. And marketing is no different. Once you understand the frameworks, you don't need to guess what works. You just mix things up a little to see small changes that make small improvements. You master the structure and you make it your own, just like those number 1 hits on the radio that you always hear. So I have a training aid here for us. So you can think of, words as a note. Probably can't hear that very well, but it's like a note. And then if you create like a structure in an email, it creates almost like a scale. And then you could use all of the notes in that scale to make yourself a very short song, for example. For example. And the reason why that's so important is because it really isn't as creative as it seems. You're not going to be like a story writer where you need some inspiration. It is literally just fill in the blank, more or less. Now, that's an oversimplification, maybe a hyperbole, but it's very formulaic, it's very structured, and you just take the structures and you use the brand voice, you put them together, and you can create consistently high converting copy to where anybody in the ideal target audience sees the words that you've written and they are most likely to buy. So here is the $3,000 email copywriting tutorial. It is free, but it should definitely cost at least $3K. So we're gonna hop into it over here. Now, I'm not going to cover every single thing that is inside of this document because again, it's downloadable down below in the link in the description, or for whatever reason, if you can't find it, you can just send me a message on Instagram at tyson.scales and I will get back to you and send it over, whatever resources that you are trying to get your hands on. So these are all the things that are actually inside the 3 copy frameworks that can sell virtually anything, creating subject lines in your emails to get them opened, etc., etc. So as you can see, I have exactly who you could write for right here, ranging from easy, medium to hard. Now, the main niches, I guess, that you can break them down into is health, wealth, and finance. So writing something about finance, for example, that you don't really know much about the actual niche itself is going to be more hard, but writing something about relationships or fitness is going to be easier because most people have some sort of idea about that. So it's going to give you a little bit of an advantage. So these are everything right here, all the methods. Like I said, I'm not going to go over it because you already have full access to this. And this is how to write copy with AI and everything in between. So if you want the real nitty gritty, you're going to want to go through that. And now another resource that we have that I'll open up and show you is the free AI prompt pack. So I'm going to open this up over here, and it's very, very simple. It is simply just a small couple of prompts that you can go into ChatGPT or Claude.ai. Those are the 2 main AI websites that I use. Go in there and take whatever you've already written, put them in there, and give them some of these really easy prompts. I wanted to make this as simple as possible, as not complicated as possible, so that you can get started and you don't want to copy and paste it. I'm going to obviously show you exactly how I write it. I'm going to write copy right in front of you, but you don't want to copy and paste it. Ideally, you want to give it what you've already written and then take what it comes up with that's actually better than yours, and you want to then merge them together. That is the process. So here is also a swipe file. So here's the thing. A swipe file is essentially a collection of copy that you already like and know already converts. Chances are you're not going to come up with bangers every single time you sit down to write. No one does. That's why your swipe file matters. It's like a backup brain for hooks, subject lines, and angles. Anything that made you pause, click, or think, damn, that's good. But here's the key. You don't just save great stuff. Save the weird ones, the cringy ones, and the ones that made you mad or curious or slightly annoyed that they worked. Because even bad copy teaches you something when you know what to look for and what to look for to not do as well. So here's one of our resources that contains 120 plus winning hooks for your inspiration. So this is how you can start emails or any part of copy. As you can see, there is tons and tons and tons of different hooks in here. So go through these, check them out. And I also have like a full free swipe file as well available in my huge list of resources. So if you're wondering what copy looks like, or you're sitting down and you're about to write and you're staring at a blank screen and you want to figure out how to start, go through some copy that already exists to get some ideas. Next is copywriting tools. This one's really important. Some tools make you faster. Others just make the process less annoying. So Google Docs is where you're going to be doing most of your writing. You're going to be writing live documents in there. Hemingway and Grammarly help clean up the clutter without killing your tone. And they also help you fix any typo. So if English isn't your first language, and of course you're wondering if this is something that's suitable for you, you're always going to want to use something like Grammarly. And AI like ChatGPT or Claude.ai can help you when your brain is fried or when you're just coming up with more better ideas. They're not here to write for you. They're more like someone to bounce your half-formed ideas off of. And that's it. Use what helps, ignore what doesn't. Very simple. Now, probably one of the, if not the most important parts of all copywriting or just skill building in general is training your inner mentor. At some point, you stop needing feedback. And it's not because you've made it, but because that voice in your inner head gets sharper. You start spotting issues mid-sentence, and you hear the objections before the reader even sees the page. That's your inner mentor talking. It's built from repetition, patterns, and watching better writers work in public. You won't notice it right away, but eventually it starts finishing your sentences. So what this looks like is if you've ever watched something for a long period of time, you will naturally start to outwardly display all the things that you've already watched. So for example, if I just sit around and watch like big debate videos of people debating points, all of a sudden I get like super argumentative and start arguing as well, just a little bit more in my everyday life. And the same goes for education as well. Now, education without execution is just entertainment, but you are still going to be taking action. But when you are already brain fried, when you've already taken your action, it's really important to sit there and quote unquote, watch the game tape, right? Watch the game tape over and over and over again, because it will be burned in your mind. If you hear me, 100 times consistently, say something like, all right, this lead in your email or this lead in your copy is too long. You're going to want to shorten it. Then next time you're writing an email, you're going to sit there and be like, Tyson does say that you want to make that really nice and short. So I'm going to make it short here. And this is a really easy way to expedite the process and get better much faster. But this is your warning. Prepare for what is coming next. You're about to watch 6 to 7 hours of real community content from my private, exclusive, and high-level masterminds. So I'm going to break down real copy from real people, and there are no polished examples, just